Hello, and welcome to the Excellence Foresight, the podcast where we explore the mindset, models, and strategies that fuel sustainable excellence. I'm Nancy Noemi, your host, and today we're diving into something that every leader, team, and organization should be asking. Are we truly ready for change? So, welcome to this episode on change readiness. We all know change is inevitable, but readiness, that's definitely a choice. And let me tell you, 2025 is shaping up to be a year where change readiness isn't just a nice to have anymore. It's a survival skill. So let's unpack why together. I'm going to take you through the three different items today, starting with a reality check. Change is only accelerating. 73% of organizations expect an increase in change initiatives over the next few years, but change fatigue is real. And from my experience, I really can confirm that. A few years ago, I started hearing the word change fatigue, and I've experienced it since then, working with organizations in different sectors. Many of their employees feel overwhelmed, disengaged, or resistant when bombarded with transformation efforts. But here's a kicker. Organizations that build change readiness into their DNA are known to have 3.5% more likely to outperform competitors. So what does that tell us? It's not change itself that's the challenge or the problem, it's how we prepare for it. Now let's think about it. When was the last time your organization assessed its readiness for change? Not just the big, flashy initiatives, but the everyday adaptability that determines long-term success of your organization. You might answer never. The second point I want you to think about, the human factor. Now let's talk about that element in the room. Why do so many change efforts fail? Because they focus on systems, not people. If you want change to stick, it has to start with people feeling respected, heard, and valued. Now, research from ACMP, the Association of Change Management Practitioners, shows that leaders who engage employees early and foster psychological safety see adoption rates soar. Yet only 40% of employees feel their input is considered in transformation efforts. Coming out from an experience working with a PMO project management office, and I know that people, when then they provide their input into the transformation, it's hard for them to connect to it, and it's hard for them to do the right thing. So how do we fix that? The principle respect every individual, which is one of the fundamental principles in the Shingo model, tells us that change isn't something you do to people, it's something you build with them. You need to create a change with people, and I think Peter Drucker said it too. So here's a question for you today. When was the last time your team had an open conversation about a change initiative? You might think, maybe not that long time back. But add to it, that conversation happened before the initiative was rolled out. Your answer could be never or rarely. And it's time to rethink how change is introduced in this case. A lot of times we see senior management, senior leadership bringing new initiatives and just telling people that it has to happen. That's not necessarily the right thing to do. I'm going to give you 3 tips at the end of today's episode that helps you understand how to do things right. But before that, I would like to jump to the third topic or third element of this discussion, the system-wide perspective. Think systematically. Another major reason why change efforts fail is they are tackled in silos. And I'm sure all of us have a lot of examples to share. One research of ACMP found that 80% of change projects focus on isolated functions, leading to disjointed execution and resistance. Change isn't just a project, it's a shift in how the entire system operates sometimes, and it should be treated as such. We see now and more change management integrated in other functions in the organization. I was teaching operational excellence. Part of it was change management. We work in project management. We see more and more integration with change management, and the ACMP standard speaks to that. So it's very important to consider change to what it is. And that's where think systemically, another core Shingo principle, comes in. Successful change isn't just about flipping one switch. It's about understanding how every moving part in your organization connects. And let me give you this example. If a company is rolling out a new digital tool, the IT department might focus on technical implementation, while HR focus on training, leadership focus on the return on investment. But what if no one is thinking about how the customer experience will be impacted, or how frontline employees will actually integrate it into their daily work? Will that be a success? Change readiness isn't about checking or ticking a box. It's about zooming out, seeing the full picture, and making sure every stakeholder is aligned. And one time I was talking to one of my clients, and we were discussing about his new initiative about introducing an ERP system, digitalizing its processes. And he shared with me a story about their sales team and how they struggled initially and they were not coping with the system. They were not adopting the system. It's only when they asked them why they understood that the system was made for people behind their desks, in front of their computers, while the sales team was always on the road. They just provided them iPads so they can enter their transactions in the system. And it goes back to really talking to people, involving them in the change. And we talk about change, it's very important for people to understand why it's important to change. And why it's important? Because what's the consequences of not changing? So you need to tell them why they need to change and what happens if the organization and if they don't change. Now, change doesn't have to hurt. It hurts sometimes. We do believe that, but it doesn't have to. So let me give you the 3 ways to make it stick in your organization. First, start with conversations, not announcements. Change fails when people feel blindsided. So instead of delivering decisions from top down, involve teams early. Here are the 3 things you could do. Ask for input, listen to concerns, and build trust before building new structures. If people help design the change they want resisted, they will definitely own it. Second tip, connect the change to personal purpose if you can. People don't resist change, they resist loss of meaning. Help each person see what's in it for me. Link the change to individual goals, values, and growth opportunities. And share stories, not just strategies. Share what's happening and let everyone connect to it. When the change feels personal, it feels worthwhile. And the third tip, celebrate progress, not just big wins. Waiting until the final goal is reached kills momentum. Celebrate small milestones. Highlight team contributions often. Let them feel proud about it. Create rituals that reinforce the new behaviors. Progress celebrated becomes progress repeated. Change sticks when it feels human, hopeful, and happening with people, not to them. So let me now end up my podcast today with this message. So as you gear up for the rest of the year, here's what I want you to take away. Stop treating change as an event. It's not just an event. Start embedding readiness into your culture, into the way projects are happening in your organization, improvements are happening in your organization, and new initiatives are adopted in your organization. Respect every individual. Your people aren't the obstacle, they are the enablers. Bring them early on in your process. Think systemically. Change doesn't happen in a vacuum, and don't approach it like it does. Make sure that every part of your organization, every component, every department understand what the change is and how that change is going to impact others. Remove silos by creating cross-functional teams, by creating alignment around that change that you're bringing in your organization. If you want to explore this further, book a call and happy to continue the discussion. And if you found this episode valuable, share it with a leader who needs to hear it. Until next time, stay curious, adaptable, and always in pursuit of excellence. This was the Excellence Foresight podcast on change readiness. Thank you for tuning in.